Welcome back to JoJo's Hobby House, everyone. We are here with the pilot of the 7th place deck of the Strathpine Regionals. I just want to apologize for how late this upload went, but please enjoy. I will let him take it from here.
Hey, how's it going? Dan McGuire. I came 7th for the Strathpine Regionals last weekend. The event was good. Thank you to Peck for judging. My only losses were 1st and 3rd. If I didn't suck, I probably could have won one of them, but it's fine. I played 60 card dragons with some brave cards. Cool. Most of it's pretty standard by now, but they're hand traps. You just can't beat brave cards without hand traps. They are just. It is like almost any combination of like any of these two lets you play the game. Yeah, you just can't not play them. Most of these like are low impact, but if you pair a low impact with a high impact, it's fine. So like the high impact ones are anything that actually remove bodies, and then the low impact ones that don't. So as long as you see in tandem at least one of each, or you could just draw 3 of these because you're better than them, it's fine. But yeah, there's like merit for droplets and stuff, but that card just doesn't. It's like win more going first. It only helps going second against Scythe. You're okay with dumping cards, but them being light also helps a lot more too, which is what you want. And then some dragon cards. So there's 2 router. There's 2 of these. Since then, these have been cut down a lot. They're kind of not great to see, especially these because you're always recycling brave. So I ended up just cutting them all together down to 1. They're not fantastic, but these are. And even if you mill them, it's fine. They do what they do. A couple of things that would definitely change. But then, yeah, the brave cards. They just need to be in literally every deck you play. You can't win every dice roll, and when you lose dice rolls, this just trades interactions like nothing. Like your opponent has a DP, well, they definitely don't anymore. They have to respect it. If they don't, then they lose the DP, and then you probably just take it anyway because you're playing dark, and then the foolish. The hero stuff. There's almost no reason not to anymore. It just like lets you actually simplify the game state because you can break the board through brave, and your opponent probably has brave cards too, so it's usually pretty grindy. But unless you've actually got interaction on your opponent's turn, it doesn't matter that you break the board because you both just got infinite resources. And it's this over Dasher. It only came up once. I wish it was Dasher. And it's purely because I drew Nib for turn, and it would have won me the game in 4 summons. And then I didn't, so I got Nib. Other than that, this one's better because if you mill it off the Chaos Ruler, you can put it back with Chaos Space, which comes up a lot, actually. You just kind of have to play a little bit different, not cycle your baby dragons. Because, yeah, they're less important now. Because the extra deck is way tighter than it used to be, so you have less room to actually do dragon things. Yeah, and then the dragons. The actual dragons. This is like the only dragon that you can normal summon in the game that actually gets you advantage when you're playing brave cards. Yeah, it plays into Lancia, but everything in your deck is playing in Lancia anyway, so you might as well just play the highest impact ones. And this card's always insane. You can play multiples, but they're not good when you don't see dragon cards because you're playing so few to begin with anyway. And a lot of the time, unless it's this, you just don't want to banish it anyway. And the baby ones. These ones are the best. This comes up a lot where you can. It was like one game against. It was like a. It was against Mech Knight. I've been through my Verte. I've been through everything. I had nothing, but I had Chaos Space, and I had a light in hand. It was like a Nibiru or something. And then I searched my the plasma, and then I summoned it. And it's too big, and they can't do it either. That's never going to come up, but they're really good. And then there's like a couple of ones. This, more often than not, you are adding levy off the chaos spaces. Then you're also just doing this. This kind of sucks, but it's okay because sometimes your board is that good to the point where your opponent they battle phase your seal, and then you can go into this because nothing they do after that point with their battle phase really scares you when you've got DP floating every time. So you can set up for your next turn by adding levy because first action levy is really strong. Or if they are doing threatening things, you summon the Aether, which was like, I would say overperformed, but it only overperformed because of the cards people were playing. If people weren't playing droplets or rulers that weekend, it would have been a lot worse. But I've been dropleted and I've been rulered every single round, essentially. So it just turns your seal into like an actual removal option. Because, this deck probably does lose to Dark Rule and stuff. Dark Rule and droplets. But it doesn't matter because every single time the deck just always has more cards coming back. Restoring cards. Yeah, you just put them all back in chaos space. I probably missed something, but the one-off field spells, they're not great. And then the 60th card is 4. Since then, a couple of things have changed. I just cut the Growth Hall completely because it is kind of contradictory with a lot of the stuff. Like you get greedy because then you have to keep cards in hand to Growth Hall, and it's just win more at that point, where you could probably just summon any of the dragons. They're all doing the same thing. Like Tracer, it's fine. But yeah, that was 60.
Big deck.
Yeah, a lot of bricks. A lot of things you don't want to see. The probability of drawing one hand trap was 85%. Probability of seeing 2 was just under 45. So you just want to build your deck to draw 2 hand traps every game and still combo. But yeah, can't always do that. There's all the dragon cards you have to play. These are like the 4 you have to play. This comes up less and less, but you need it with the Pisty play. Quad roll. This also comes up not very often anymore, but it comes up enough to the point where it warrants a spot. Because resolving it generally wins you the game. You don't ever really do it turn 1. Generally popping your opponent's monsters down. How it was intended to be used. The rest of extract, Dark. Yeah, your opponent can play around you unicorning their DP by popping it, and then you just take it anyway. And this, yeah, there's like merit to be also playing the Broadsword because it's really easy to climb into with Dark, and then any dragon after the Broadsword you make Pisty and you summon back literally anything, and they're super dead after that point. But it felt much easier to just climb into Unicorn Access and then play a little more into some hand traps than just try to kill people as fast as humanly possible. Yeah. And the rest of the extract was this comes up enough. When you don't see a way to your dragon engine, which is a lot, there's a lot of cards in here that aren't dragons. The brave cards on their own just really suck. It's just Griffin Pups. But as with testing, it came up more that you just wanted to you just make a DP. Because DP with hand traps, like if you're not playing, you've only got a brave access. The rest of your hands are like you'd rather predict, or the rest of them are hand traps. And then more often than not, they are the hand traps because there is twice as many as there are bricks. So you change it up, and then you just turn the token into this Griffin, whatever, and you just make the DP. Which came up enough to the point where it's there. There are times where you get nibbed at the end of your turn and you haven't made a DP, and then your seal floats. You can sometimes do that. That doesn't come up often. Usually Tracer lock yourself. And then the Synchros. This one is not very good. It comes up when you're playing really greedy, because with like the Brave and the Dragon Engine with the Tracer, you can do like really greedy plays where you can like get out the tracer, go for your boot, and striker pop itself to add it back, and you summon it, and then you can pop the adventure, make this, mill some cards, and then you summon out the rocket synchron, and then make this. And then you've got like extra bodies to make Vertes and all kinds of funny things that aren't white, like seals.
You don't want to play the zombie vampire?
That comes up more when you're playing like ways to make it. Like you play Galactic Spiral, but then that's a lot of extra exploits on for it. Like if you want to play the zombie vampire, then you need to be like you need levy access or you need a Galactic Spiral. And they're really hard to make. You need the zombie vampire, and you also need to commit to an IP, which you could definitely fit in here. That card just. It was really hard. When you play Boral Sword, you have more space because your unicorn can be then like pivot between the IP. But without the Boral Sword, then you are using this to climb into your access code. So then you just, if you are IP unicorning your opponent's turn, and then on your turn, the only way you're climbing up is through this, and then you've probably got a Pisty next to it anyway, so you can't do it. Which is unfortunate, but it doesn't feel necessary. Yeah. Still a lot of things in the works. Yeah, that was super cool. Some people were playing around this, a lot of people weren't. You just like draw phase, you priority, you poly away the scythe, you poly away the DP in the scythe, so they can't scythe you. Drew like twice. They didn't play around it either of those times. And then they started playing around it and I didn't draw it, so it's fine. And then there was more hand traps. You should be maxing out on every floodgate hand trap you can possibly play. Lancey is low impact against most decks. But it's a floodgate. It has no restrictions. You can hit off ruler, and then add it back to your hand. And draws. Flunder is very hard. Flunder is very, very hard. That deck is just super ignorant. You could give a 5-year-old that deck, and they would probably be able to take games at levels. And then it's just more cards towards Flunder. This was like just respecting back row. Because your Brave cards trade with back row decks anyway. It doesn't do as well as the Tenny deck does in the back row. But it felt like, unless it was like skill drains, you can play around almost every kind of floodgate that people are playing. So you play around Gozens, and you play around the Chameleon ones. You just can't play around skill drain. So there was like enough in the deck to the point where it's there, but not enough to the point where like you're like overcommitting your side. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know if there should be anything else. The deck was cool. It was run well. It was a pleasant experience.
Thank you for the deck list.